Hi folks, I'm Dr. Aviva Ram, and I want to talk with you about the power and beauty of using groups to support your practice and other endeavors you have. I use online groups all the time. I've got about 6 different ones going at any given time, both to support my patients and also to support online programs that I have. And I simply use Facebook as the venue for my groups. It's free. It's easy to welcome people into them. People can either join as a public group, or you can have an invitation where they have to ask to join and then you simply let them in. And that way they can be private for kind of more paid groups or things that you want to keep confidential, or places for your patients to just share. And they're really incredible for keeping contact going in between visits if you're working with patients, in between events that you might have if you're doing an online program. And they're an incredible way for patients to support each other and individuals doing groups together to support each other. You know, the power of group medicine and the power of groups to leverage support for each other is really well documented. Everything from centering pregnancy groups to group medical practice has really demonstrated to have enhanced outcomes for the individuals involved in the group. They also make your work much easier because you're saying one thing to many people instead of saying that same thing over and over and over and over again to individual patients or individual people in a group. Also, what women or people, sorry, my practice is mostly women, what folks bring to each other when they're in a group is really incredibly powerful and also informative. So for example, if you don't have diabetes, but you're running an online diabetes group with your patients in your practice who have diabetes, they're going to ask each other questions, and they're going to ask you questions, and they're going to provide answers to each other that are above and beyond what they might ask you one-on-one, or what you might even think to answer one-on-one. And that can be incredibly transformative. Also, when people are doing things together, they tend to have more of a sense of witness. And so they're more likely to actually follow through and have accountability. So how do you use a group? Well, I pick a platform like Facebook, and I create a separate page just for that. I usually do my groups invitation only, but I do have some public groups that you can also go to. Even my main Facebook page functions as a public group, and you can see how that works. Then you want to decide what the frequency of posting and engagement is going to be. So for example, in some of my online courses or with patient groups, I will post once a week. And so that's a post that creates either some engagement, it may be I ask them a question, it may be I share a tidbit of information, and that post lasts for the whole week. And then in the meantime, the students or patients are engaging with each other, and then usually one other time a week, I go in there and answer comments. But you can also have someone who's in your practice or in your program who's on your team go in and answer those comments as well. A support person, it could be a health coach, a nutritionist, another licensed practitioner. Pick the frequency that is going to allow you to be both consistent but not overwhelmed. And also, if you offer more than you can deliver and can't deliver it, people will be disappointed and lose trust and confidence. If you offer less and then deliver more, they all think that they've won the lottery, which is an amazing thing. Now, when it comes to having someone else on your Facebook page or your other group platform moderating for you, or even when it comes to you moderating, unless those people are your patients, keep in mind that everything that you say can be construed as giving guidance or medical advice if you're not really careful about that. So just like on social media, you want to think of those groups as a social media platform in terms of how you're communicating. And even if you're doing a closed patient group, you want to remember, if a patient asks you a question, you can answer it, but you still can't divulge any of their private information or talk about something about them. You can only answer the question they're giving. And I still, even with patient groups, don't answer medical questions on that directly for that patient. If it's a direct medical question, I still want to answer it in the context of a patient consultation. So what I'm answering is questions about what we're discussing in the group. And that's okay if I make it personal for them, but I don't want to give them medical advice without hearing the full story. There are many options that you can use for creating a very robust and interesting and engaging online platform for groups. I use videos. I usually go on with most of my groups once a week if it's a short-term group, like a 3-month group with a live Facebook event, or once a month, or even every 3 months, depending on what groups I'm offering. So some of my professional training programs, I go on once every 2 weeks, once a month. It varies. You can also use Zoom as a platform for your Facebook group, assuming you use Facebook, because Zoom allows you to go on Zoom, and you can even use the group live on Zoom where people can see each other if they want to be seen and talk if you give them an option with Zoom meeting. But that can also be synchronized through Zoom to play on your Facebook page. So it stays as a stored event on your Facebook page. You can do prompts where you ask a question and get people's answers. You can share recipes. You can share tidbits. There's so many ways to create engagement. And always remember to use the comments that people give you to mine data for what you're going to create next. So let's say this week you create a post on an anti-inflammatory diet, and 6 people come in and ask, well, what about turmeric? Well, then the next week you might think about making your post about turmeric and or specific anti-inflammatory herbs. So each thing that you learn from your group really gives you direct feedback. It's like having a data mining group that you can use right there. So big points to summarize. Power of groups is incredible and can exponentially enhance your practice. Choose your platform. I use Facebook for my groups, and then I use Zoom also for meetings. Pick your frequency. Make sure you can keep it sustainable, but also consistent, and make sure that consistency is ideally the same time and day of each week, because then your people who are following you can know when to, same bat time, same bat channel. They know when to find you and where, and that makes it really easy for them. Use a moderator if you need to, or tune in yourself, but make sure that you're not giving medical advice. Use a lot of different ways to communicate: videos, recipes, live events through Facebook, engagement questions, etc. And make sure to data mine. Doing groups is it's one of the most rewarding aspects of my practice, my professional teaching. I love it, and I hope you enjoy it too.